What up, Scrubs? This is your Scrub-in-Chief, Solaris X. I am here for another episode of the Scrubcast. The Scrubcast, where we follow a professional player playing a hero so that we become a better player on that hero. This is the Summit 5 match between OG and Fnatic. Thank you, Summit, for bringing us fantastic matchups with very interesting lineups. This is a match between OG and Fnatic. I think I just said that. OG, the world's very best team as we speak. Though, you know, there's going to be some competition at the International coming up. So the Summit 5, one of the big tournaments right before the International. Get to see kind of what kind of gameplay is happening, what kind of changes teams are making. There was a patch just a few days ago, I think 4 days ago, that changed a few things on a few heroes. And we're starting to see some heroes make some comebacks. We're seeing Earthshaker. I've seen a few Earthshakers. I've seen a couple Legion Commanders. I've seen a couple Keepers of the Light, some Tinkers, tons of Faceless Void. That hasn't changed. A number of Shadow Demons. I actually covered Shadow Demon a while back, and I don't know if he was buffed or if just he's in the new meta now because of really just stupid strong heroes. I'm not really sure how it works out, but Terrorblade, very strong still. We've seen a lot of that. Earth Spirit, of course. Storm Spirit making a nice comeback. And this is the second or third Omni Knight that I've seen. So this is interesting. This particular matchup, however, I wanted to cover. I was just going through looking for a match, and I wanted to cover this hero right here. Legion Commander, your favorite pub jungle hero. You see people just AFK jungle. I have not seen this match. I don't know how he's played this match. I would assume, if you're looking at the lineup here, you would have a Faceless Void off lane to start. You would have a Tinker in the mid lane. A Keeper of the Light probably in the off lane with the Faceless Void. Maybe doing something with the safe lane Legion Commander and then the Earthshaker supporting. Maybe this is a roaming duo here. Maybe this is just a permanent off lane Keeper of the Light, permanent safe lane. It depends on where they need the pressure, or where they need the probably the coddle. Now, let's look at the other side. So we've got a Shadow Demon, typically going to be a safe lane support, just kind of pulling shit and stacking that, what do you call that, that junk on top of people. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. The little cloud of doom will slowly kill you if you let it get too high of stacks. Terrorblade in the safe lane as well. I think we're going to see the Earth Spirit probably kind of roam around. We almost always see that. A lot of ganks in mid lanes. There are probably a few gank tips on Tinker from an Earth Spirit. The Storm Spirit, going to be mid, for sure. I don't think I've ever seen Storm Spirit in any other position. Maybe a safe lane Storm Spirit on a rare occasion. So he'll be up against Tinker. I would imagine that's a decent Tinker game against Storm Spirit. Not really sure, though, how that plays mid lane. I'm not a mid laner, hardly at all. Omni Knight, probably going to be what? Off lane? Is he just off lane sitting with an Earth Spirit maybe? Is he off lane with a Shadow Demon? So I don't know how these lanes are going to develop. I'm going to assume then that the Legion Commander is either going to be off lane or safe lane. And in this particular setup, the question's going to be, you know, they want to have lockdown, but I'm not sure they're going to. They got the lockdown because it's the Storm Spirit, I'm assuming, and the Terrorblade. You want to be able to lock somebody down and kill them certainly without the Terrorblade using Sunder. But you got the Faceless Void Alt, you get the Legion Commander lockdown, you get the Earthshaker stuns. And if you need to, you can actually use the Mana Leak on a player like Storm Spirit. So Storm Spirit, they pick Storm Spirit into a coddle. They pick Storm Spirit into a Faceless Void. And they picked a Legion Commander into a Shadow Demon. So that's fascinating, given that the way all these heroes work is they kind of all counter each other. And if you're a Faceless Void, by the way, and you've got Tinker on your team, wow, that's a powerful combination. You find that Chronosphere, and all of a sudden Tinker's TPing in. Keeper of the Light could potentially recall somebody if the Keeper of the Light stays near Faceless Void, and you got a 3-man gank squad without an IO. So I kind of like the way OG's playing this. I really don't know how Fnatic's going to set this up. I do know that OG go on to win this game. So let's go ahead and get started. You know, I'm going to watch the hero. I'm going to watch Legion Commander the whole time, played by Moon in this particular case. So let's see how Moon plays this one. That's actually, I know now it's an off lane because I know Moon plays off lane. So off lane Legion Commander, who's he going to be paired with? Probably a coddle. I think maybe a coddle there. Safe lane Earthshaker. Okay, he goes for probably the fast health boots build, perhaps. Is that an Iron Talon build up? Oh no, he's got the stout shield. He's clearly going to be involved in some creep wave issues here. Crit gonna have to use his stun to put some damage here on DJ with playing on the Earthshaker. I'm sorry, Earth Spirit versus Earth Shakers. This is like Earth lineup over here. This is the Earth lane. Legion Commander has a bunch of it's 4 tangos. He's not going to give any of those. Not going to share any of those with this mid laner. Probably doesn't need to. It also needs the additional health regen being in this lane. He maybe consider getting press the attack for a little bit of the health regen. That's a 30 HP regen for 5 seconds, then 40, then 50, then 60. Also gives him a little bit of a bonus attack speed. Not bad for jungling. I have a feeling this is going to be a... Okay, so this is a Coddle-supported Legion Commander. Coddle played by Fly. And I would think that what's going to happen is they're going to try to contest this lane. It's going to be a safe lane here against a Terrorblade, probably Shadow Demon. That's a pretty scary lane if Metamorphosis gets popped on top of a Disruption. So we'll see how that works out. My guess is that they're going to probably Coddle and Legion Commander are probably going to contest the lane as much as possible, but Moon may consider going with an Iron Talon to jungle this creep camp over here to his left. So we'll see what happens. Actually, it looks like Crit is going to be supporting him, and the Coddle is going to be... No! Coddle's coming back. This is going to be a tri-lane. A tri-lane going to be very, very powerful. This is going to get Moon the kind of farm he needs to get a few key items like a Blink Dagger, maybe a Blade Mail, and then Coddle's going to put constant pressure on the Terrorblade, and then Crit going to also put constant pressure on Terrorblade with the threat of a stun, but also prevent any counter initiations on Moon or on Fly. So this is it. This is going to be rough. You can already see the massive damage. He's already down to... And by the way, it gets a Terrorblade who has tons of armor at level 1, almost no magic resistance at all, almost no health. Also, he's like 500 health. So you're going to get to 720 health, 4 armor, 63 damage Legion Commander, and 2 other heroes, and he barely has enough health to even be in here. So he is actually going to be in serious trouble here. Crit's going to be able to provide a very long-range stun if necessary. Moon provided the vision to actually enable... the Moon Fly provided the vision to actually enable Moon to put some serious damage on Mushi. Mushi getting hit by that fissure. So this is already a kind of a tragic lane here. We've got one person going up against... it's the Terrorblade versus basically 3 of OG, a tri-lane of OG. So Fnatic's going to have to get a lot of other lanes. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Storm Spirit against the Tinker, I would imagine it's a relatively even lineup. I'm going to go ahead and do last hits here and see. Storm Spirit getting the slight better of the Tinker there. Not bad. He's 10-7, not bad. But, Mushi has to be very careful. He's going up against any moment, the Earthshaker could be around. You can see the Earthshaker kind of meandering mid. But that Fly is going to be able to produce constant damage. I don't know if he's going to get the Mana Leak build. Okay, he's not. He's going to Shocker Magic, and that'll enable Moon to continue to use his Overwhelming Odds, which is a bonus. Basically, it's just an AoE damage spell, and it's based upon the damage is based upon the number of heroes or creeps in the area. We got base damage is 40. It's going to be added up. Additional damage per creep is going to be 14 per creep, 20 additional per hero, 25% damage to illusions. So that's, okay, I guess, because it's going to get maximum bonuses against illusions and a bunch of illusions. Against Terrorblade, that's fantastic, by the way. Oh, it's Mushi already popping the Metamorphosis just to get some farm here. He's only at 4 farm. Miracle drawing first blood against DJ on the Earth Spirit. Apparently, Earth Spirit got a little too bold there, going up against the 9k MMR god of Miracle. So apparently Matumba Man very close also from Liquid, very close to 9k MMR. So soon the god will have multiple gods. So Moon putting a lot of pressure here on Mushi, going to cast Overwhelming Odds, get Mushi down to a nice low level of about 2/3 of his health. There comes the Illuminate coming through, doing a lot of damage. In fact, the Reflection is going to have to be popped to be able to contest Moon over here, sitting in the woods. You're just going to pop us out. He's now going to be in trouble, though. 3/4/3 is coming in. He's going to have the Disruption popping under the tower. There's going to be a Terrorblade in the area. There's going to be an Earth Spirit kick. Is there going to be a save by an Earthshaker? There it is. There's the fissure. Actually, not just going to save, but going to get a kill. Perfect timing there by Crit. Probably didn't have enough. Oh, he had enough mana. He had plenty of mana. So Moon, Fly, and Crit all soaking up this off-lane experience, money, and putting massive pressure on the Terrorblade. Looks like mid 1 picking up a kill on Miracle. The Storm Spirit getting decent, probably getting his level 6 maybe? No, he's only level 5. So a level 5 gank, actually probably not probably a mistake there by the Tinker unless there was an assist by a friend. I don't really see any assist gold or anything. So Legion Commander picking up his Ring of Basilisk. So it's not going to be any kind of Iron Talon build. He probably could have built that into an Iron Talon. I think that Ring of Protection is involved in the Iron Talon. So I honestly have not played that much off-lane Iron Talon builds. So I think that's the Ring of Protection is part of the Iron Talon. So he could have gone either way. That's actually brilliant, right? Because now he's got this Ring of Basilisk, which will, Basilius, which will allow him to help push this wave if he wants to, which is going to be a really good option. Look, he's already got the creep wave at the tower. Terrorblade is in trouble. Terrorblade can't really contest most of this. He's not going to be able to fight into the Illuminate damage of Fly. It's going to be constant spam between Moon's overwhelming odds, which is already doing pretty decent damage given the number of heroes in the area, and the illusions even. By the way, it also gives bonus speed to creeps and heroes in the area, so that's another benefit. It's also an allied buff. Legion Commander being kind of the paladin of sorts. I don't know, paladin, I guess. He's just kind of like a buffer. I don't know. He's kind of like a paladin. I don't know what he is. Legion Commander. So that's not a he, by the way. It's a she. She seems to do well against lots of other people. Big hordes of other people, so. Moment of Courage. 55% lifesteal on 25% chance. I don't remember if that's pseudo-random chance or random chance. The cooldown, though, is going to... It actually does have a cooldown, unlike Axe's spin. So, there it is. It just actually hit. And it's going to gain him a little bit of health. It's decent. So you can use that. You can stack max damage on a Legion Commander. And you can use that as an opportunity to get massive heals off of it. 55% lifesteal. It goes up to 85%. Fly and helping Moon here on mana regen, allowing Moon to go ahead and press the attack, which gives a little bit of the additional attack speed necessary. And here's the setup. Moon going to have to get the hell out. There's going to be Fnatic coming in with the disruption. On the ready. Is he going to get a last hit on the tower? Potentially kill whoever that was there. Oh, it's going to be a deny. That's all right. It's going to potentially get a kill there on 343 with the overwhelming odds. And that's another reason to stack overwhelming odds early on. Lots of additional damage, base damage plus the additional hero damage in the area. By the way, the search radius is 350, so if you look at that, that's not bad at all. That's really not. He's got his Orb of Venom. I honestly don't know when he got that. He got that at some point. I guess he's just using that to kind of keep pressure on the Terrorblade. He's got the Belt of Strength. He's not building it. I guess he's not building the boots just yet. He's probably entering. Yeah, he's got just 500 gold left, or 30-some gold left for his boots. Can get the nice fat boots, the ability to switch, tread swap, use the spells. The spells, that's going to be helpful. It's going to have a reduction on a spell cost on all his spells. He's going to add to that the Ring of Basilius, so he has a little bit extra mana. And just in case, he's got a magic stick, and I think that's going to be a nice setup once he gets at level 6, which he already has. Duel is online. 4-second BKB piercing, bonus damage inducing catch. Very, very nice, especially against that Storm Spirit. So he's got the mana, he's got the ability to have a little bit of extra health when he needs it. As soon as he pops out of that duel, he's going to be able to pop a magic stick and maybe survive. Just maybe. Also, this guarantee, the way this is going to work is with the Terrorblade sitting in the area. Look at that range on that. You can really contest Mushi's farm pretty well just by being in the area. Now, he's not getting farm either, and the reason is because if he gets disrupted by the Shadow Demon, that's the end of him. And he wants to keep kind of pressure in this area. I think he wants to keep the Terrorblade afraid. You know, they know that they know that Moon has Fnatic knows that Moon has duel, so they're looking to try to avoid a gank by they don't want to give him additional duel damage too. So you know they're trying to avoid this area, and this is, by the way, very scary for OG because Moon is all by himself. Although there's a ton of people up here in the mid lane, sort of in the jungle there, taking big team fight there. I'm not sure he's going to turn out. Looks like nobody is dying. Just kind of a crazy little team fight. Looks like Fnatic loses an Omni Knight, which is not good. Because now not only is he dead, but he can't cast his Repel or his heals on the remaining players. So the remaining members of Fnatic just left that area, trying to avoid any additional collateral damage from their team fight. Gonna go an armlet build. This is a classic armlet build hero, and the reason being Moment of Courage. You get the additional bonus damage and bonus attack speed with the armlet, and momentarily so, very important, during a duel, cast that before your duel, and all of a sudden you're dueling, and you're going to hit people a lot harder, a lot faster, and you're going to gain a lot more health. So, very symbiotic build here. He actually switches to a Quelling Blade. He might actually end up going Iron Talon jungling. This is, I think, scary for him. This is a late Iron Talon if he's going to do that. I mean, this is 9 minutes and 42 seconds into the map. He still needs something to deal with these creeps. Maybe he's just getting this as kind of a casual creep killer, since he is going to switch to more farming. And it pays for itself in, what, 200-something gold? And if he wants to be able to farm in this off lane on occasion, he has to be in the area to do that. So he needs to, he can't just keep leaving and coming back, because then he risks walking right into the enemy, not knowing that they were even there. If he's farming, however, he can at least see them coming and then leave. But if he comes back, hell, that area may be warded. He doesn't really know. So he is just really uncontested here. This is fascinating. Fnatic is not challenging Moon at all on his farm. And maybe that's because they see that he's going for the treads, he's got the Ring of Basilius, he's got an Orb of Venom, he's got a Quelling Blade and a Magic Stick. He doesn't have that Blink Dagger yet. But they better be careful, because they are going to let him get one really fast. He already has 1,000 gold. Between the overwhelming odds damage that's already up to 160 additional damage per creep, so that's going to be a creep, let's say a creep camp of 3, that's additional 60 damage, that's going to be 320 damage, plus the additional speed based upon these creeps. It's not attack speed though. He's going to be able to cast his armlet once he gets that armlet. So he's going to wait, he's going to go for the Blink Dagger first. He's going to have enough damage to farm pretty quickly, especially he's got the Quelling Blade. This is a smoke up, they're going to go wrap around. Try to get a nice kill on Storm Spirit. If Moon can get in position, Storm Spirit's going to be too far away, though. The Earthshaker is going to fissure the area, stop the Storm Spirit. Mid one way out of position. Moon going to run in, try to get a flank, a back flank here on mid one. Can he get the duel off? There's the duel. They're going to blow up mid one. Doesn't matter whether or not they kill him during the duel, because they're going to get a kill no matter what they do. He cannot escape. No zip zap for you, mid one. So he is dead, and that is the power of a Legion Commander. So Storm Spirit overextending, not realizing he didn't have a ward in that area. He had no idea what was going. There were 2 to 3 people missing off of the map. I'd say that probably qualifies as a misplay by mid one. And look at the damage. Legion Commander, decent creep push, decent wave clear, as they might say. He has the addition, or the decent farming potential, because he does have the Moment of Courage, get an occasional heal. He's got good armor. He does have that. He had the shield. I think he sold the shield. Decent damage. He's already up to 100 damage per hit, and that's probably because of this dual victory damage he's got sitting there. And you'll see how quick he clears this camp out. Each creep down to about half of its life. 2 or 3 hits. Boom, boom, and he's got about less than 5 seconds. He killed pretty much the entire camp. So he's going to go through. He's a decent kind of off carry. He's good core.
This will do nicely.
And he is getting pretty much exclusive control of this jungle. So I think this is a good example. And by the way, overwhelming odds into this creep area, using the Quelling Blade to pop out a tree, so that when he does overwhelming odds, the creeps, they come through the tree line to him. But he's being given massive priority here. He has been completely left alone by Fnatic. I don't think they've attacked him. Well, they haven't tried to gank him once. You'd think they would try to do that. And now he already has a Blink Dagger. And this is where he gets just really gross. He's already TP'd into top. This guy is going to try to stay out of range. He doesn't want to reveal he has a Blink Dagger yet. They're going to try to bait this out as much as possible. No tail in the area for a Chronosphere. They're going to be able to basically kill 2 heroes at once. Especially if you've got the Tinker just putting all kinds of these stupid March of the Machines everywhere. Moon's staying out of vision. He really wants to get a nice initiation. Looks like Mushi is threatening in this area, and there's Storm Spirit looking for the blink onto mid one. Instead, he's going to actually duel Ohio, kill that Omni Knight really well, which is going to prevent Omni Knight from being able to repel mid one or heal mid one, which is going to enable No Tail to get a Chronosphere. No, the Chronosphere already used. He's not going to be able to counter initiate. He was actually silenced up. Moon Looks like he's experiencing a little bit of magnetism, or magnetized damage. His ult is down. He's going to have to overwhelming odds DJ. It's not going to be enough for the kill, so instead he's just going to turn around. Miracle being initiated on there potentially, but he's just going to survive that and get the heck out. Moon goes back to farming. He really wants that armlet, and once he gets that armlet, I think they're going to probably be really good for some nice rotations. Tinker is coming online. The Chronosphere is online. You know, you don't really, the Earthshaker and the Keeper Light are pretty much always online. So here comes Moon. Notice how he started that initiation by casting Moment of Cure or press the attack on himself. He pressed the attack to give himself the additional HP regen and bonus attack speed. He then blinks, then duels, and that's the end of it. Guy's dead. No escape for you. Mid 1, getting himself out of position. Crit's going to Fissure, mid 1, get the kill. Miracle pulling back, trying to escape that kill, not going to happen. But it doesn't matter because DJ is going to suffer for his insolence. Moon getting recalled to Fly, who is in the mid lane, wrapping around this mid tower, trying to get a kill over here on the Shadow Demon. Going to use a ward, very important. They're going to get a kill on this. Going to overwhelming odds. Can you overwhelming odds that? Is that possible? Oh. Moment of courage to get the bonus attack speed, just in case they were going to be able to speed up that courier. He got 2 attacks, and I think he killed it 1 hit. I don't think he needed to do anything. So that's a creep. That's just, you know, pain on top of suffering, and suffering on top of pain. OG showing why they're one of the best teams, if not the very best team in the world right now. And I think in the last few, I mean, they've won the last, basically 2 out of the 3 last majors. They have been literally almost completely unstoppable in mini tournaments since then. I don't know if they've won this tournament, but I think they might have won this tournament as well. I don't know if the tournament finals has happened yet. So I think it's July, was it today? July 15? I think that's the finals. That was interesting. Slight change in the graphics there. So Moon, again, prioritizing his farm. He's going to have to get this armlet. I think once he gets the armlet, he's probably going to go up to, what, like a crit build? Maybe go Crystallis into Daedalus? Maybe. He's going to, he tried to initiate on that Terrorblade. And there's going to be, okay, a Chronosphere. This was difficult, because he's going to have to wait and try to wait for that Chronosphere to dissipate. Well, it didn't matter, because Bushi was dead anyway, thanks to Miracle's laser, which, by the way, if you watch my Tinker video, is my favorite refrain. It's a laser. So the way this is working is he's basically their ganker. He just stays farming, and I think the reason why that's good is not only because he's getting higher and higher levels, he's getting better and better items, but he's also off the map, and the enemy is terrified of a blink duel. By the way, going for the Helm of Iron Will, I think probably the best item here. A little bit of regen, a little bit of armor. Nice item for Legion Commander. But, you know, it's just terrifying. This is like Pudge play, right? This is, you stay in the woods, you don't reveal your location, you farm whenever you can. By the way, he's a much better farmer than a Pudge. Much better farmer, and he has much better lockdown than a Pudge. Pudge has decent initiation because he can initiate you from anywhere multiple times over and over, even during one team fight. Now, Moon gets that 1 duel, but all you really need is 1 duel against the Storm Spirit, who relies exclusively, almost exclusively, on his Zip Zap. Now, I'm assuming Storm's going to go ahead and get a Lincoln Sphere in this game to deal with the duel, but he is, yeah, he actually has to go for a Bloodstone first. He'll probably then go for a Lincoln Sphere. That, or he's going to hope that the Shadow Demon is going to always basically have to be staying around Storm Spirit to disrupt the Legion Commander. Of course, the problem is that whenever the Legion Commander jumps in on these guys, he's not just by himself. And eventually, he'll be able to kill lethally. Now, mid 1 is repelled, but duel goes through that. So he's going to do the same combo, press the attack, duel. That's going to be enough. Crit, I think realizing there that he wasn't going to be able to get the kill, potentially not before the Zip Zap, so he went ahead and expended the big Earthshaker ultimate, or the Echo Slam.
Double damage.
So Legion Commander playing is basically a ganker. That's all he does. And I think that's why you see so many jungle Legion commanders. They stay in the jungle, they farm up, they get these decent items. Now he's going to armlet. He's going to blink across. Duel's almost on cooldown again. He's going to overwhelming odds the area. The cast press the attack on No Tail, a little bit of HP regen, a little bit of additional damage. There's overwhelming odds damage. Not going to be enough to get a kill here, but he needs to get out of the area. Magnetize plus some other enemies in the area. Storm Spirit on. Coming off of his cooldown. Coming off of his death, I guess I should say. So, okay, Legion Commander opting for a secondary initiation tool after the armlet. He is going to go for the Shadow Blade, and this allows him to get a jump on the Storm Spirit without blinking in. There's going to be no chance at all for the Storm Spirit to avoid the duel. The problem is that, and by the way, that's another reason why the Omni Knight plus the Storm Spirit does nothing to counter Legion Commander. It's a BKB piercing. What is that? How many second? 5.5. That's the ultimate. 5.5 second complete and total catch. Nothing you can do to escape it except for a disruption. Maybe an Earthshaker stun. Or, I'm sorry, Earth Spirit stun. So that's the Shadow Blade is going to allow him to initiate from anywhere. And also, I think one of the benefits to Shadow Blade that I think we don't always see is it forces the team. There's two things. One, it forces the team to start buying sentries. Now, they're going to have to buy sentries anyway to deal with the warding situation. But actually, it looks like OG not buying hardly any wards this match. Look at this. OG doesn't have a single ward on the map. They don't have a single ward on the map. Now, that's interesting. I don't know if that's because they're being dewarded.
This will do nicely.
Not really sure. But the other benefit of having a Shadow Blade on somebody who's your initiator, you know, other than what I said earlier, which is where you get an instant initiation. There's nothing that anybody can do to stop you. It's just too fast. You pop out of duel instantaneously. They're stuck. But you also get a chance to run around and see what's in the area before you do that. You have a chance to inspect and scout out the area just a little bit. So OG going for the same exact play they have done over and over again. Starting to become a little predictable. They wrap around. Looks like they're going to go next behind that tier 1 mid tower being one of the most important towers in the game. Also, they know that there's probably going to be some farming right through that area. It's a nice area to catch somebody. They're going to go ahead and ward up so they can at least see if there's somebody coming. Looks like Moon's going to go ahead and duel, jump in and duel 3-4-3. That's going to have plenty of damage to get a kill on that. Mid 1 going to jump in there and start counter initiating. Going to get a kill on the Coddle. He's probably not going to have any chance in that fight, that particular matchup. Storm Spirit being a very nice counter to Coddle. Coddle's best chance of doing anything about it is a Mana Leak, but I don't think Mana Leak goes through Zip Zap. So that's unfortunate for Coddle. But Legion Commander, they now have a ward, 2 wards actually, in the mid lane. Between those 2 towers, they know they're going to need to have to eventually start pushing these things down. And you know, one of the things about OG that is very fascinating is they have basically no siege. They don't have a siege engine. I mean, the best is a sustained push behind a Coddle, an Ags Coddle, a Tinker, and then you have the initiating power. You have like 3 counter initiators. You have potentially the duel. It's not really counter initiation. That's more of an initiation. You've got the counter initiation of Chronosphere, potentially also first round initiation, and you've got the counter initiation or initiation of Crit on the Earthshaker. So they have potentially 3 first round initiations and 2 counter initiations. What they haven't been able to do so far is push down these towers, and I think that's goes to the big weakness in this OG lineup, this OG draft. You know, where's the siege coming from? They have that sustain, they have the initiation, the counter initiations, they have fantastic team fight, fantastic lockdown on especially some of these elusive heroes that you have a problem killing. But what they don't have is siege. They don't have a Shadow Shaman. They don't have a Jakiro. They don't have the Shadow Demon, you know, making copies of people to send up to the high ground. The Terrorblade is a much better high ground pusher than anything OG has. And if any OG heroes die, say, you know, not any, but any important OG heroes die later on, then a Terrorblade can threaten high ground pretty easily and just wreck the base. There's no Luna. They don't have any decent siege. So I don't know who I'm following there. So, you know, this is I think, the weakness, and we're going to have to see whether or not they can counter this weakness. They have great wave clear, they have great team fight, they have great gank potential, they've used that to their max, but now they have to start pushing down towers. And that means they're going to have such a dominance over Fnatic. They're going to have to get a kill on a Storm Spirit. They're going to have to take out a Terrorblade, probably. Something like that. Maybe the Omni-Knight will help them. I don't know. It's getting to the point in the game where if OG take just one hero, they're going to start taking down towers. And the creep waves are going to be constantly pushing because of that Tinker. And mid 1 constantly being repelled, so there's very little that the Earthshaker can do to initiate it. It's going to have to be a Moon initiation or I'm guessing that's No Tail on the Void. Yeah, No Tail on the Void. Or a Void initiation. But they don't want to just have those guys just jump in there like crazy people, not knowing what's behind enemy lines. That's why those 2 wards were down there in the mid lane. So, going back to Shadowblade, Pops actually purchases the Shadowblade. We're going to see how he uses this for initiation. This is going to wreak further havoc among the supply lines of Fnatic. It's going to wreak havoc and terrify them. They're not going to know what's coming, and the Storm Spirit, at least he's going to get that additional vision he needs behind the enemy lines by at least scoping out, having a chance being invisible to scope it out. It's like they're shifting to kind of a bot lane push. I think this is good. I think this is what they should have been doing. Of course, you know, I'm sure they know what they're doing. They're the best team in the world, but you know, they're trying to maintain this push against a Storm Spirit and a Terrorblade. It seems like they're struggling a little bit to keep the creep waves across the tower, or across the river. But I think if they keep this pressure, and they actually did end up pushing the tower there in the bottom lane over, if they keep this pressure in the bot lane, they're going to potentially be able to just push down that tower. And here it comes, the blink in with the dual damage. Mid 1 not going to be able to survive. Disruption used on No Tail to prevent a Chronosphere. No Tail actually going to die for that, probably. DJ going to get blown up. Sorry, DJ, about your day. No Tail going to die to the Magnetize. But press the attack. Is that a Dispel, too? It does. It is a Dispel. I forgot about that. So press the attack, also dispelling things. I don't think it dispels the Magnetize, though. Moon actually missing the overwhelming odds there. Actually, I think he cast it, but Ohio had to repel on. Not going to be enough to kill Ohio. He's got the Armlet toggle his way to success here. Crit going to be in the background. Fly going to be in the background, going to help out Moon. Moon's going to be completely invisible. They're not going to know where he is. Crit going to get the nice counter initiative, or at least a cutoff there. Prevent Moon from dying. Moon Shadow Blades to his safety. Fly going to go ahead and get some mana back to Moon. Moon going to have the ability to get back in this game without having to go back and heal. Another nice benefit of the Moment of Courage and the Armlet of Mordigan. Or Mordigan. Is it Mordigan? I think it's Digi. He denied the tower there before. I think that was the Tinker could get there. So, oh, is that rude? I don't know. Is that rude? Moon just like having fun with Miracle there. It's like, yeah, you think you're TPing? Nope. So Legion Commander going to go ahead and pick up a Assault Curious. I think a fantastic build. He is the one jumping into these situations. He does need the additional armor. He does need the additional healing. I'm sorry, the additional anti-armor. He is mostly right-click damage. So this is going to be a nice setup. Once again, the exact same play they have made every single time. They walk across, they smoke up behind their tower, walk across the river, walk across this little plateau, go down the stairs, go to mid lane, look for a kill, and almost every single time, this is what, the 3rd successful gank? A couple of them didn't work, but I think that's the 3rd successful one that did work. Looks like No Tail is going to have a Chronosphere of it. And Moon's going to use this as an opportunity to to hunt the backlines of Fnatic, preventing Fnatic from being able to respond to the Storm Spirit's death. So there you go, 2 simultaneous kills executed very well by OG. The Chronosphere catching the Storm Spirit, probably Tinker and Fly blowing up the Storm Spirit who's stuck in the Chronosphere. Moon not able to do much while there's a Chronosphere, instead choosing to fight the back lines. He got that initial duel off on the Shadow Demons. The Shadow Demon was no way going to be able to protect the Storm Spirit during the course of the Chronosphere. So what are they going to do? If Fnatic have the 2 heroes that together are supposed to be working together, if both of them die at the same time to a Chronosphere and to a duel, they're so screwed. And by the way, another nice thing about Legion Commander is you don't have to take the carry. You don't always have to shut down a carry. You can, if you're just in the area and you see an enemy, you can easily go ahead and get duel victory. You can gather your duel damage. He's already up to 90 additional damage. It's like having, what? That's having Monkey King Bar damage right now? He already picked up an Echo Saber. So he has the Armlet of Mordigion, he has the Echo Saber, and he has the Moment of Courage. He's going to be able to do 85% lifesteal 25% of the time, and he's going to be able to have, what, within 1 second, he's probably going to hit it every 1 or 2 seconds. See how often he does it. Definitely not a real Terrorblade, looks like. Terrorblade illusions always are the ones scouting out, looking for things. Moon is Shadowbladed up, looking for that initiation.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Testing out that illusion to see what was there. There's the disruption defensively. They're going to have 3 OG TPs in. They know that all the enemies are in the area. They know they have the ability to get into place. There goes a press the attack. Get some additional attack speed. Shadow Blade. You hear the zip zap in the area. Moon hunting, looking for someone. See if they can find anybody in this area. He already has the armlet on, by the way, and that's so that he can, as soon as he can, initiate. He doesn't have to want to wait for the armlet toggle after he initiates. Can't do that, and he wants to be able to initiate right as Shadow Blade. He doesn't want to armlet himself out of a Shadow Blade. So, Crypt being recalled. Moon going to go ahead and actually not recalled. That recall was canceled. OG lost their carry, no tail there on the Void. At least one of their carries. Legion Commander, I think, probably has a lot more damage at this point. Faceless Void has a Mantis style. That's okay. He only has 134 health. Legion Commander already at... wow, that's a lot more. That's 250 health or so. Plus the fact that or 250 health, 250 damage. Plus you consider the additional bonus damage coming out of a Shadow Blade, and he's got even more than that out of it with an armlet. And if you count the Echo Saber, that's an initial burst damage, 120, 160, it's 190 times 2. He's going to be able to put up 380 damage in the first second of attack. I mean, more than that because the Shadow Blade. And then you've got the fact that he's got press the attack. That's 440 bonus attack speed. He is going to hit like a truck during duel damage, or during a duel. So he's doing really well. It's going for a Silver Edge. Going to get some nice passive. Going to get breaks here. Silver Edge will break the enemy's passive bonuses. Like, I don't know, the Degen Aura would be nice. That's going to be a nice thing to get rid of. Or the Overload. That's going to get rid of that. Passive bonuses to Terrorblade. Now I don't know any passive bonuses to Terrorblade as far as I know. So he's just going to use it for the additional damage and the additional stats. 15 to all attributes, 30 attack speed, 30 damage. He is slot committed at this point. He needs the TP. He doesn't want to commit to the boots. He likes the power treads. I'm not even sure he's tread swapping here. He's just sticking it on strength. Now strength is also his primary attribute, so that's a good item. And you can look at the additional attack speed there with his press the attack. I don't think he even used armlet for that. And the Echo Saber, and all of a sudden that tower just flies down. So this is actually what's turning into the siege. Moon becoming the sieger with his ability to do massive amounts of damage very quickly.
Top tower is under attack.
And he's going to be able to solo Roshan. They're up pretty high, 13 to 19. But I think that I'm going to guess that the game stats, you just look at the stats here, yeah, they're way ahead. I shouldn't say way ahead. They are decently ahead. They're 7,500 ahead here of Fnatic. OG doing pretty well in that regard. The experience, almost identical. Oh, that's fascinating. That's usually not that close. They're going to take out Roshan. They're going to get the rest of the team involved. At this point, Coddle has that sustain. He has the Ags for the constant spirit form. Constantly able to recall. It's now a 3-man gank squad with the Chronosphere anywhere they want to be. You can also do the 3-man. You can do it off either on the back of a Chronosphere or on the back of a duel. Preferably off a Chronosphere, it lasts a lot longer. Moon could be in trouble there. He's going to just jump in, initiate on the Shadow Demon. That's going to kill the Shadow Demon, prevent the save on mid 1 from a disruption. Mid Ohio going to get struck by, wow, going to get struck by the overwhelming odds and then blown up by the rest of OG. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be, I mean, OG just tearing through Fnatic. and largely on the back of Moon. Now Moon gonna again press the attack, additional attack speed, additional health regen, Echo Saber, Armlet. He's got also has the Aegis. This is gonna set up for the tower push. This is their siege engine. Let Moon get up there on the high ground. Who cares if he dies, I guess, if once his duel is done. Though at this point it doesn't matter if he dies because he has the Aegis. It's like no buybacks on Fnatic. They're gonna lose entire range layer of racks. And this kind of, this is where I think Fnatic was kind of being tilted onto their back heels, onto their heels there, onto their back legs, and now I think they're being almost pushed over. It's just the ability of OG to initiate 3 different ways, 3 different heroes, shuts down the escape, shuts down the zip zap, it shuts down the Omni Knight, it shuts down all of the enablers. I mean, you look at if Moon goes on Shadow Demon can't save Storm Spirit in a Chronosphere. He can't save Storm Spirit in a Fishery. If he kills Omni Knight, then Omni Knight can't save the team against physical damage with his ultimate, Guardian Angel. He can't save anybody with a Purification or a Repel. And these supports are playing very defensive roles, and so Moon is able to go through the back lines and just wreak havoc, allowing the Chronosphere to be used for somebody else and allowing Crit to save his stuns for counter initiation. Meanwhile, Fly just sits in the background, constantly casting Illuminates, maximizing the damage and the healing potential. And then Tinker just, I mean, if you've watched, I have a Tinker video with Indy play Tinker. Oh my gosh. Tinker just blows people up. He gets the heat seek, he's got the eggs, and the heat seeking missiles just do so much damage, and he just spams that stuff so quickly. There's virtually nothing that the enemy can do. So the damage output of OG right now, tremendous. The lockdown of OG, tremendous. Moon is initiated on this time. It's going to be potentially, is it a flawless initiation? No. Moon going to be able to Shadow Blade himself out of this. He's probably going to go ahead and duel as a DJ. No, he's going to think twice about doing this because he will die as soon as he blinks. He's going to Armlet toggle, Overwhelming Odds himself, look for that initiation on a big hero. He did Overwhelming Odds, somebody there if he got the kill. Here's the duel. Goodbye, Mushi. You are so dead, you can't even kill Moon. Yeah, and another, by the way, benefit of Legion Commander is can't use any abilities when you're fighting. And one of Terra Blade's absolute best abilities is his Sunder. So the initiation targets for Moon are, what, anybody on the team? Anybody? You can get anybody. That makes your life so much easier. And if they come to him and he's able to survive like that because of how tanky he is, I mean, I think he survived that on his own. That was quite a few stuns and chain kind of control right in a row from Fnatic, and he's able to survive by popping Silver Edge. They didn't have any detection. He had almost no health. And he popped his press the attack, Armlet toggle, jump back in, Overwhelming Odds, got some kills, and then ended up dueling and killing Mushi on the Terra Blade. Now they're going to just keep the snowball rolling. Tinker going to TP in here. Moon going to crush this tower. The right-click damage. Boom, 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 boom. Nothing Fnatic can do about this, so they have all their ults up except Guardian Angel on the Omni Knight. Moon going to slow walk this, going to press the odds. I'm sorry, press the attack. Press the odds. Combining those two things. Overwhelming Odds, press the attack. Press the odds. That'd be a nice combination there. At this point, how do you kill him? He's got 15 armor. He's going to have essentially Assault Cuirass here coming right up very shortly. Going to replace probably the Aegis with the well, I just said it and I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, there it is. Oh, is that what I think it was? Is he going for some kind of Ags? Is he going to flip and get the Ags before he gets the armor? The Assault Cuirass? Interesting. But how do you kill him? You know, he's got 9 armor. He has 3,000 health. If you can't stand the dual damage to him, look at that. It's like 300 and something damage times 2. And the initial hit, that's 600 damage. Plus, if he comes out of Silver Edge, or comes out of Shadow Blade, well, Silver Edge in this case, and you add the, I mean, just so much damage. He's actually already picked up the Assault Cuirass. So he's going to go for that Satanic next. He's going to be almost unstoppable. He is such a good front liner when he's given this kind of farm. You know, Fnatic not shutting him down early. And in many ways, this was kind of, I mean, how do you play a Legion Commander as a scrub? Well, don't get contested the entire game and play against the Storm Spirit and play against the Shadow Demon and just smoke around the mid lane and just duel anybody you see in the area with a couple of friends and just get kill after kill after kill. Farm your head off in the first 20 minutes of the game. Gank the next 10 or 15 minutes. Push down towers with your Echo Saber and Armlet combination. And now he's going to just siege high ground with the Assault Curios. Walk up there with the Shadow Blade. It's going to scare the hell out of anybody. His ability to initiate, his ability to move around the map, his ability to disable. He has the team fight to support it. Chronosphere is a secondary initiation or an initial initiation. You've got the huge amount of AoE damage coming out of a Tinker. You've got the huge amount of AoE damage potential from a Echo Slam Earthshaker. Blink, I'm sure he has at this point. Yeah, there's the Blink. And Force Staff. And he has a Lotus, which is nice. Lotus Orb there. Potentially cast that on Moon. Moon not going for a Blade Mail this game, by the way. Not a build he cared to use. And I think that's because, you know, who's gonna blow him up? Terrorblade was way far behind by the time that Moon was initiating onto these enemies. There's no way Terrorblade was going to be able to do anything. Terrorblade needs his Metamorphosis, and if Moon catches out Terrorblade out of his Metamorphosis, then Moon will get the kill for sure. This is an example of where, you know, if you've got a core like Legion Commander who can farm easily, he can Iron Talon farm if he needs to, he can initiate, he can gank. You need to shut him down. You need to get a hold of this game, get a grip on this game earlier, or at least push the towers out so that he can't free farm and he does get ganked. So right now, he's just blinking around, owning the Fnatic jungle, going back and finishing up the creep camps of his own. His Ancients just cutting through them like butter, freely walking around whenever he wants. He kills the Illusion, the Terrorblade Illusion, one hit. There's the Chronosphere initiation onto the Terrorblade. Crit going to follow up with a Fissure. Moon and an Echo Slam. Moon going to go into probably Ohio there. Yeah, Ohio dead. Fnatic is going to be down. This is going to be game, folks. There is no way. Miracle going to blow up the Earth Spirit with a Dagon. Moon just sitting in the tower. He's not going to bother with the Storm Spirit, I don't think. Or maybe he is. He doesn't really need to. He's just going to right-click these guys down. I mean, that's the Echo Saber damage is real. The Armlet damage is real. And they did end up getting... Oh, wow, that's a good game. They did end up getting the Lincoln Sphere. They got it on a Terrorblade. They probably would have been better off getting it on some other hero. Terrorblade needed something other than a Lincoln Sphere. He needed health. A Scotty would have been nice on a Terrorblade to be able to deal, hopefully last through the dual damage. Even a Blade Mail would have been nice in this game, given the amount of right-click damage coming out of that duel. So, how do you play a Legion Commander, folks? Play with a great team. Play with OG. If you play with OG, you're going to be great. I guess the alternative to that is off lane, have a tri-lane to start, scare the crap out of your enemy, go against a Terrorblade in the tri-lane, shut down the Terrorblade with your tri-lane. By the way, a tri-lane having Legion Commander up front, having crit to potential, or a Earthshaker or somebody who can save your Legion Commander if he does if there is a gank attempt against the Legion Commander, and have constant regen and sustain in that lane from like a Coddle, the constant illuminate damage coming in against that Terrorblade. Terrorblade did not have the lane support. Look at his lane supports. Earth Spirit? No, that's a ganker only. In a tri-lane, that's not going to work. Storm Spirit would have to leave. And, how are you going to... You have a Shadow Demon? That's a very protective Terrorblade. You're going to protect Terrorblade from getting killed by the tri-lane, but Terrorblade needs to farm. Terrorblade needs a ton of farm. And so that's great. He can kind of, Terrorblade can kind of hit behind the tower and not die, but you can't shut down that tri-lane that way. They don't have the tools to shut down a tri-lane. Omni Knight? That is an enabling hero. He does heal, and he does do damage through his heals. And he has the slow, the degen aura, which is okay. But none of these heroes really have a tremendous... I mean, they have a decent ganking potential, but they don't have the lane domination to destroy a tri-lane. And so if you're going to have a Storm Spirit in the game, that would be okay. You can pair that with an Earth Spirit and get some decent kills mid lane. I think that is actually what happened. I think Miracle did die once to the Storm Spirit. Maybe solo, I don't know, maybe the Earth Spirit was in the area, but everybody knows you can get a nice initiation from an Earth Spirit mid lane, follow it up with the Storm Spirit, and you're going to get a kill. But the Terror Blade, I mean, you're going to have somebody off lane. I think that was the Omni Knight, who I guess, just Quelling Bladed, just sat in the off lane going up against a Faceless Void, and it was farming by himself. And then Shadow Demon Terrorblade did absolutely nothing against the tri lane. So, Fnatic lost. I would say probably lost both the safe lane and their off lane. They definitely got their off lane crushed, which is where their main core was. The Storm Spirit's a great initiating hero, and he can do a lot of damage. But Terrorblade was where it was at. He is their game plan. Terrorblade is a game plan wrapped up into a hero, like a Naga Siren, right? That is the game plan. And he had a Naga Siren build. He had the Manta style, he had the Radiance, but he even had the Lincoln Sphere, but they did not have the snowball did not get rolling for Fnatic until after OG Snowball was way too big to deal with. So, and in terms of how do you play Legion Commander, jungle a lot. You could either Iron Talon jungle if your lane is not going to have friends in it, and to help you out, you can just sit in lane and probably hit every once in a while and go back in Iron Talon when you have the creep equilibrium is not in your favor. You can then just jungle, staying out of enemy vision so that they are terrified of where you are. And especially if you have your level 6, that's dangerous. Nobody knows where you are. They're going to play much more protective. They're going to put a lot of wards up in the areas. That might have totally affected Fnatic's game plan and how they played their heroes. You saw how terrified Terror Blade himself. He was terrified Blade this game. How terrified he was. Just farming in his own safe lane. Just having the Legion Commander kind of poking his head in around the area was enough. And once you get that Legion Commander a few key items, you pick up that initiation with the Blink Dagger. He is so deadly. You can get, and you do have to have the team follow-up. That's one thing I think a lot of us scrubs forget about when we're playing Legion Commander. Where's that follow-up damage? You need somebody. Now, the Tinker provided great follow-up damage. The Earthshaker provides great follow-up damage. The Fissure is going to be great. It's a nice additional damage and stun. Keeper the Light with the Illuminate. Perfect. Just blast the enemy with the Illuminate. So the ability to do enough to initiate and then do enough follow-up damage will get you your kills. You saw the smokes behind. They would smoke behind their mid-tier 1 tower. They just cross the river down by Roshan, go through the Radiant little plateau there, walk up the stairs, walk down the stairs, go between the 2 towers, and I think that they pretty much the tier 1 and the tier 2 tower Radiant mid, and they almost always got a kill, or at least the majority of the time they got a kill. And they did it with dual damage, and they kept stacking up the dual damage. So their smokes always involved a Legion Commander, and I think you might want to do that, even if you have to buy the smokes yourself. It's pretty cheap. And you go from that Blink Dagger to an Armlet, and if you needed, you had Power Treads in there somewhere, but you Blink Dagger to an Armlet. Armlet's going to let you farm. It's going to let you Armlet before you get into the duel. You're going to do a lot of additional damage, a lot of additional regen on your health, because the additional damage and attack speed on Armlet and the Moment of Courage bonuses there. And if you need a secondary initiation on a really elusive hero, which is one of the best reasons to have a Legion Commander, you get a Silver Edge, or not Silver Edge, but at least a Shadow Blade. You can build that into a Silver Edge. So you get the break, and break their passive bonuses. You went from that to an Echo Saber, get that nice additional second attack, and if you've got good dual damage, you're all right click, and that's going to be a huge additional burst to your arsenal. Almost, it's like multiplying your damage over the course of a duel by like 33% or something. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but I'm sure there's statistics. But not to mention the additional intelligence, strength, damage, attack speed, mana regen that it gives, not just the additional bonus attack. Also 100% movement slow, which is kind of cool. And the attack slow, which I guess happens after. I don't know how that's kind of a weird stat there. But the Echo Saber being able to do nice burst damage, and then finally the Assault Cuirass makes you a very tanky frontliner. I'd imagine after the Armlet he was going Satanic, so he would replace his Armlet with a Satanic. Very high strength item, give Legion Commander almost, you saw that the point that the enemy decided to finally attack him, he was pretty much invulnerable. They couldn't kill him with all of their spells combined together. blowing pretty much everything, and he just simply silver edged out. His team all TP'd in and then, or came in, and then he just blinked back in and got 2 kills basically. So there you go, folks. A Moon Legion commander from the best team in the world. If you don't know how to play Legion commander after this, then you suck, and you're probably a scrub. All right, folks, you enjoy your Legion commanders. Good luck and have fun.